Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Guys, 24 hours ago, I was at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona to see Napoli-Juve, to see us get another win at home, guys. We are the team with the best home record of 2025. We managed to go the entire year undefeated, guys. And if you were there and you felt the atmosphere during that game, before and after the game, then you will know that what we managed to do was create not a 12th man, but probably a 13th or 14th man, because guys, the atmosphere was so electric. It was so electric, and that's why Napoli are just so hard to beat at home. I had an incredible time. I'm surprised my voice came back at all for me to make a video. I'm still a little bit struggling out here. But yeah, 24 hours later, I'm still full of adrenaline, full of happiness about the fact that we managed to get these 3 points. Because if you think about where we were, guys, just a few weeks ago with Antonio Conte maybe resigning, right? We don't know if he actually did and De Laurentiis had to intervene, or whether that's something the media made up, but there was definitely a crisis going on in Naples when we think that that's the situation that we were in a few weeks ago, to then go 5 games, 5 wins from there, with 3 of those games in the Serie A back-to-back being Atalanta, Roma, Juve, and in all those games we dominate our opposition. Guys, that is seriously impressive. And Spalletti came back to the Maradona. By the way, more people applauded him than those that booed him. I was one of the ones that applauded him because, guys, I mean, yeah, he went to Juve, and when the announcement happened, you're upset, but you can't forget what the man has done for Naples. But anyways, guys, he comes to Napoli, and Juventus have a 3-5-2 without a main striker down the middle. So they play Yildiz and Conceição as 2 falso nueves, or 2 number 10s. Look, I think this is where actually Spalletti lost the game. I think this is a man who sometimes likes to tinker a little bit like Pep Guardiola does at times, and sometimes it backfires, right? And I think he's still trying to understand this Juve team that he has. And look, I think it was easy pickings for Napoli's 3 center backs, Beukema, Buongiorno, and Rachmani, to play against 2 Juve attackers who are not really attackers. So anytime there was a long ball, anytime there was anything that went their way, it was just so simple for the Napoli defenders to deal with it. And then what they did so well is that because we had only 2 midfielders compared to Juve's 3, at times 4 or 5, because they were playing with a 3-5-2. So it depends where the 2 fullbacks are, or wingbacks. But Juve had a numerical advantage in the midfield. But what happened was that the Napoli defenders, guys, so Beukema, Buongiorno especially, but sometimes even Rachmani down the center, they were not afraid when we had the ball to push up and be that extra midfielder and help distribute the ball. And I think what we have in our team now is defenders that can defend really well, but they love to go forward. They love to defend high, and they're comfortable having presence in the other team's half, or at least in the midfield. Whether that's from a defensive point of view, where you quickly intercept the ball, or just from, okay, I have the ball, I'm in the Juventus half of the field, I'm comfortable. I can still play my game, I can still pass, I can still find that long ball, that nice pass to Hojlund or to Neres, and they did that so well. And so we were able to basically nullify, firstly, Juventus's offensive threat with 2 strikers, but then when we had the ball, we didn't feel the numerical disadvantage of only having two midfielders. And that was the key of the game, especially in the first half. Spalletti realized this, and he brings on Jonathan David in between the first and second half, right? So he makes a drastic halftime substitution. Now Juventus in the second half start the game with a man up front, and Yildiz and Conceição move to a more natural, let's say, wide position that maybe they like to occupy a bit more. And this now puts a bit more equilibrium in the game, because suddenly you've got three Napoli defenders having to face three Juventus forwards. There's a lot more man-on-man marking. It's a lot simpler for Juventus to read the game, because there's not this situation where one of the free center backs of Napoli goes to the midfield and nobody's prepared to cover him. Now, it's everybody has a direct man that they just follow and fight against. And that's where Juve scores the equalizer, right? And for 20 minutes or so, we had to get used to this situation, and it seemed like there was a lot more parity on the field. But Spalletti, for whatever reason, guys, tinkers again and gives us, I think, the game, because he takes out Yildiz and Conceição and goes back to not the same formation in terms of style that he had in the first half, but he goes back to a more defensive-minded approach, where I think he was happy to walk away at that point with a 1-1 result. Takes out his two most gifted players, and the substitutions do not have an effect, guys, and it allows Napoli to reconquer terrain. We push back up, and within 10 minutes of those substitutions happening, we get our goal again. But I honestly think that Spalletti here came to the Maradona a little bit scared to go for the win, and scared in general, guys, because let's not forget that this Juve team did not even sleep at Napoli the night before, because they were scared of maybe fireworks going off in the middle of the night and the team not getting enough sleep. I don't know, for whatever reason, but fundamentally there was something that scared them about coming here to Naples, both off the field and on the field. And it was 100% reflected in what happened on those 90 minutes, guys, because all the changes that Spalletti made from his starting 11 to the substitutions when the game was at 1-1 reflected the fact that he did not want to win this game. He was happy to go for a draw. And I think that's where you lost it, because if you come to Napoli and you're looking for a draw, you're going to find it hard. You're going to find it hard to keep this Napoli team at bay with so much form in recent weeks, guys. But from our side, look, we have tons of merit, because I was saying how our center backs were brilliant today once again, not only defensively but also helping with the construction of the play when one of them would come to the midfield and help out. But when we speak about our midfielders as well, guys, we have a decimated midfield where Lobotka out, Anguissa out, De Bruyne out, Gilmour out, all our midfielders out. We were basically left with Scott McTominay only, an 18-year-old or 20-year-old Vergara, however young he is, which started off the bench, and Elmas having to actually start in midfield. And he's not a defensive midfielder. He is, we don't know what he is. He's a number 10. He's a winger. He's whatever you want him to be. And today, guys, he was what we wanted him to be, which was a defensive midfielder, and he did that so well. He's got so much football intelligence that you can put him in any position and he knows what's expected of him. He knows how to play in that position, and he does it to some extent very similarly to the way that Lobotka interprets the game. So, Lobotka has this ability to come out of pressure, to, twist his body around, low center of gravity, and just shimmy his way around the midfielders, and it opens up a lot of space and opportunities for Napoli. And Elmas is exactly that type of player that, he's able with a few touches to find a yard or two of space for himself. And he did that so well. I think compared to Lobotka, he's not able to recover as many balls. He's not able to intercept as many passes. Lobotka is so good at that as well. Sometimes it's an underrated part of Lobotka's play. But I thought Elmas was incredible. And then what he does have compared to Lobotka is that when he sees the opportunity to go forward and attack the space, he's not afraid to do that. So he's actually an added threat offensively as well. Incredible performance by him and by McTominay in the middle as well, because he's also another player that is almost sacrificed in this new formation. He's not going to get as many headlines by playing deeper, but, he's just so ready to do what it takes to play for the team. And there was a little moment in the first half where it seemed like he had a bit of discomfort, but he pulled through the full 90 minutes, guys. So the midfield, incredible. And then what can we say about the attack, guys? With Hojlund scoring 2 goals, Neres in the form of his life. Maybe we start with Neres, guys. But this was another moment where we won the game, guys. The matchup between Neres and Koopmeiners, where Koopmeiners now, he's originally, guys, a midfielder, right? Spalletti, since day one that he's arrived at Juve, has put him in a left center back position, not because of, emergencies in defense. It was just, look, I see you as that type of player, and for me, that's ridiculous. That's another one of the weird things that Spalletti does that I don't really understand. And this is maybe how geniuses are sometimes, right? You have these crazy ideas, and sometimes they work wonderfully, and other times they just flop. And I think this is a flop. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why Koopmeiners is playing left center back, because when you put him up against such a skillful player like Neres, he's going to struggle. And Neres had something like 10 successful dribbles against Koopmeiners. He did so well. And, having Neres on the right-hand side compared to Politano gives Napoli so much more unpredictability than what we had at the start of the season. And I think it's hard for the teams that face us to really prepare. And the link up between him and Hojlund is becoming so good. They are exchanging assists between themselves at all times. And we have more today, or shall I say yesterday. And the goal that Hojlund scores, guys, for the 1-0, go watch those highlights again. But it is such a quality goal. It's some will interpret this as a tap-in. But guys, he was behind the defender, and he had to time his run to get in front of the defender. And the defender, guys, had no idea where Hojlund was, because if you look at the movement, guys, go watch the replay again. Hojlund goes behind the defender. So now the defender has to look at the ball, but then he's got Hojlund running on the other side. So he's caught between, do I look at Hojlund or do I look at the ball? And that allows him, or it basically makes it so that the defender, who is maybe not as experienced as he should be at this level, to get caught between two things. He didn't know who he needed to look at, what he needed to look at. In the end, he didn't understand in what universe he was in. He didn't get neither the ball nor Hojlund. Hojlund goes around him, gets in front of him, and taps it in. But this is very strategic from Hojlund to make a run not in front of the defender in the same direction where the ball is, because that would allow the defender to see both things and anticipate. Instead, he goes in the opposite way and then again cuts inside. So he doesn't go the opposite way and go to the far post. No, He goes the opposite way and cuts back into the front post. Attack the front post. That's what we need. There's no point going to the second post because we have Noah Lang. We have the other winger over there. What he needs to do is attack the front post, but it's how he attacks it that was so smart. So what a goal by Hojlund, not because of the finish, which was also kind of nice, but because of the thought process of, this is how I'm going to make my run. So guys, I'm so proud of the boys. I'm happy for Conte. And yeah, for Juventus, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them, I think, because I just don't see Spalletti having an understanding of what's the best solution for his team. So I think this year, if he doesn't fix that, Juventus are in serious risk of missing out in the top 4, which, I mean, on our side, that's great, right? That's what we want to see. So happy days, guys. I'm gonna end the video with a request that if you are this person here that participated in the Napoli Talk Predictor game, you won the game for November, please find a way to reach out to me, either through Instagram or Twitter. The links are in the description, or write a comment on this video here. We'll find a way to get in touch, but I would love to make a video with you, and to now end it on a nice little note, no pun intended. I'm going to leave you with the song that the Partenopei walk in to the field with. I love this song. I love the atmosphere it creates, and I think there's a reason why today we started so well, guys, because the atmosphere was so electric. It was so good that for the first 10 minutes there was, Napoli's 11 players and 60,000 people playing football on the field, supporting the team, singing, cheering them on. It was incredible. There's no question in my mind that helped Napoli start the game so well, and why we went 1-0 up so quickly, and we carried that through, guys, the entire game. So yeah, what an experience. So I'll leave you with that, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.
Sacrificio, passione, e la storia si sa, della nostra città, Napoli e della gente.